Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And Pizza Hut's armed goon did finally kick the door in. He never found me though. The hiding under several jars of peanut butter gambit paid off. I still don't have a ransom note. I have no demands from them, so I am going to start tracing those calls, find out where they are, and take the fight to them. This has got to stop. But while we're waiting for the calls to start being traced, we're going to take a look at the Schrade Golden Spike. And we did a live stream last night. That was a 7-hour live stream. That is a personal best. We had a lot of fun doing that. There were a lot of views and a lot of watch time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the guys that were there for most, if not all of it. But what had happened was a friend of mine sent me this thing about 5 years ago as a gift. And that's James over at Sprinkled Donut Forge. He does have a YouTube channel, but I don't think he's uploaded anything in a while. But if you like blacksmithing stuff, drop a sub. At some point, he'll probably start popping videos out again. But he sent me this thing a long time ago, and he sent it to me to use and enjoy. And because I'm not in an environment where a fixed blade makes any sense or is allowed, I haven't had a use for it. So I says to myself, Knives, I guess, we should do a live stream with this thing. That would be good. So we did. And, we've got a steel here that is unidentified. We got brass bolsters. We got a Delrin handle mocked up to look like a staghorn. And I hate to disappoint you, but there's no bean flick. I'm so sorry. But, this thing, I took it, and something I shouldn't have done, but I did, was I went to the workshop and I ground a new edge on there at 18 degrees. And I may have mentioned it earlier, but if you didn't see it, that work sharp is doing amazing work, and it's taken me a few tries to dial in the edge that I want, and 18 degrees is fantastic for anything I need out of a knife. Like, that is my happy spot right now. But we went in on these cuts, and I will say, to the blade's credit, and also to the edge's credit, some of that cardboard that was nearly impossible to cut with the other knives, it did go through them significantly easier. So I've got some double wall stuff that is incredibly hard to cut. Like with other knives that I've used on their factory edges, pushing down on that stuff had my feet off the ground and my chair rocked back from the amount of pressure I was putting on it. Now, one interesting thing is the SOG Terminus XR that I did, which is right. No, that's not it. It's over here somewhere. But yeah, here it is. This thing. In the middle of the live stream it had, I took out the precision adjust and I put an 18 degree edge on this one too. Completely reground the profile of the edge from the ground up. That one also made those same cuts. So, one variable we're looking at that was why I should have just left it on the factory edge is that 18 degree angle did a lot of work on these cuts. It made them so much easier, which means I have found a very good thing with the 18 degree edge, but I changed something and introduced a new variable on top of the unknown steel and on top of the blade grind and profile. So this has made the data that we got from this harder to process than I would have liked. This thing went through 4 straight hours, didn't strop it, didn't touch it up. It was showing some edge wear that was getting a bit significant, but nothing catastrophic. We had the same kind of edge wear on the D2, the AR RPM 9, the 9CR18, and there was one other. I can't remember what it is now, but this is among the best that we had. Now, the steel is not identified. I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but this is like my 5th take on this. But the Schrade Plus USA 153 UH, the Schrade Plus means this was made between 1995 and 2004 when Schrade was sold. And the production run for these ended when it was sold, and this is after Schrade switched from carbon steel to stainless on these things. So apparently you can buy new ones now that are in 7CR17 made in China, but this is USA made, and they didn't identify the steel when they sold these. There has been some speculation, and the best guess that we have is either 440A or 420HC, because from what I was told in the comments of the live stream, that was Schrade's house steel at the time, but we don't have 100% confirmation on it. So this leaves us at not knowing whether it was the edge profile and geometry there that I had, or the steel itself that held up so well to that many hours of cutting. What this does mean is we do have a good reference point with 8CR13. We have had several blades now on there that different factory edges, different blade grinds, everything else that lasted almost exactly 2.5 hours every time before they were crapped out. So that is part of where more of the confusion about this edge profile versus the steel comes in, because we have had the same steel perform the same way, like repeatedly. We have something consistent and reliable there, and so that means at the kind of abuse we're putting this through, the edge itself and that geometry might not matter as much as the steel does. So yeah, at some point I'm going to take one of those 8CR blades that we've already done, and I'm going to put an 18-degree edge on it, and we're going to put it through Cardboard Slayer again and see if it shoots past that 2.5 hour mark. But regardless, with a good edge on this thing, it held up great, and the cuts that this thing made were so easy. Again, that might be down to the 18-degree edge grind. I've said 18 degrees too many times now. It's starting to lose all meaning whatsoever. But yeah, this was a good experience overall. And, you know, we also had the benefit of the ergonomics on this handle being quite good. I don't have any hot spots. I don't have any numb fingertips or anything from this. And the only thing I felt was there was some pressure right here where I was pressing down on this. And even that wasn't that bad. It was pretty comfortable all night. And, you know, if I was in a place where I could carry a fixed blade and use a fixed blade on a regular basis, I'd be happy carrying this, especially after seeing what it took. They did a good thing here, definitely. And, of course, I've got my soft spot for Schrade. And this thing took a crazy sharp edge. Like, I will say right now, if you're not, like, alert and awake, you probably shouldn't be doing things with knives that you would do under normal circumstances. Like, I was going to shave under the camera to show how good this thing got after it got stropped back up again at the end of 4 hours, and it just flaked a little piece of skin off right there. I didn't feel it. I saw it happen, and I'm like, that'll be annoying. And about 15 seconds later, it finally started bleeding. So that's one of those things where be careful if you're going to screw around like this. But yeah, it took a crazy, crazy edge. And of course we stropped it back to life because we did. And I was going to start in on this thing for a second round. However, I had a better idea. But, you know, like that's what the edge do. And one of the reasons that we were able to see the edge wear, like I've got this stuff right here too. The paper's made different. And this definitely, it showed the wear a little bit better. The cuts started getting really fuzzy on this. But the thing that really, really showed the edge wear is I've got some cardstock here. And this stuff is about the consistency of index cards. It's about that same thickness and weight. And of course, like when you got a good edge, you know, it cuts, not a problem. It does put more resistance on an edge. And we got this here that got sharpened last night. And this will be another aftermath video tonight or tomorrow sometime. But like if you do have edge problems or it ain't cutting right, it'll show you. Really good edge problems, this whole cut will have curls and rag on it, and it shows it very easily. And that's the thing. That cardstock is where the wear showed up. It didn't show up so much on the copy paper. It didn't show up as much on the cardboard. That's where we saw the edge wear happening in real time. So the edge wear wasn't significant enough for me to go, yes, this is exactly where it wore out. Definitely slow incremental process, death by 1,000 cuts. Literally. I don't know why I've never used that phrase before. Like, that literally just hit me right now while I was talking. That is a good one. I'm going to save that for later, guys. But, yeah, so the whole night was definitely an interesting experience. And I wish I hadn't had so many different variables playing out at once so that we could get better data out of it. But we're going to circle back around to this and the sharpening on it and see how that does on other knives. That's about the best way I can figure to get some more information out of this and give us a more firm, confirmed metric on it. So, yeah, this thing, if you can get an old one and you want one of these, get an older one. Find one and get it. But yeah, that was my experience with this. That's how the live stream went. This thing really impressed the hell out of me, and we have a new data point to test out, which means the live streams will get a little bit more interesting while I go in and learn more stuff. Because again, I'm learning this stuff as I go. I am certainly no expert. I'm going in here kind of blind. The way I learn things is hands-on. I've read all kinds of stuff online, but just looking at stuff in print is kind of a mystery to me. It's like reading another language. If I don't already have a strong frame of reference, whatever I'm reading doesn't make a ton of sense. So this is how I learn things. But yeah, all that being said, this is the month of May. We are raising money for Make-A-Wish Georgia all month. And if you got a couple bucks to drop in the hat, fantastic. If you don't, no pressure. But we are doing that. The link will be in the description, and that goes straight to Make-A-Wish Georgia. It doesn't go to me. It doesn't go to my friend that's doing this fundraiser, so you know it's going where it needs to go. And anything helps at all. But yeah, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. You guys are still coming in. We're on the road to 2,000 now. And thank you for the guys that participated in the giveaway. That was fun. It was exciting while it was happening. I haven't had a giveaway that, really felt like I was that much of a part of it. So that was fun. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this. If you kind of understand what happened here better than I did, if you know a lot more than I do, please share. I love learning this stuff, and I'm not going to feel bad if you correct me on something I got wrong. But and if you've got one of these, let us know how it did for you. But all that being said, y'all have a nice day.